What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we're going to talk about the debt ceiling because it seems to be on most of America's punditry's mind. The debt ceiling is a fabricated crisis that the political party on the right-hand side loves to use to try to extract more profits out of the economy for the very wealthy in this country. That's all the debt ceiling is. That's all the debate is. When 45 was president, you know, that guy that didn't accept losing, that still claims to have won, that Trump guy, you know, the loser that lost, that guy. When he was president, the debt ceiling was passed every year without hardly a word. But as per usual, now we have a Democrat in office, and the extreme right-hand side of the Republican aisle is loving to want to hold public spending hostage and to say that they need to cut spending while not being serious at all. Now, the AP has an article that I want to read from. I'll put the link in the description box for you. But without further ado, we will read from the AP. This was Stephen Groves and Lisa Mascaro, and it says that McCarthy says the debt ceiling standoff is not my fault, as the White House warns of economic risks. Now, here we go. A defiant House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, said Wednesday the debt ceiling standoff was not my fault, as he sent Republican negotiators to the White House to finish out talks, but warned the two sides need more time as they try to reach a budget deal with President Joe Biden. McCarthy said he remained optimistic they could reach an agreement before a deadline as soon as next week, when the Treasury Department could run out of cash to pay its bills. Financial markets are teetering as Washington edges closer to a debt default crisis that would be unprecedented in modern times, sending shockwaves around the globe. Later in the day, Fitch Ratings Agency placed the U.S. AAA credit on Ratings Watch negative, warning of a possible downgrade because of what it called the brinksmanship and political partisanship over lifting the debt ceiling. The White House blamed the Republicans, led by McCarthy, for risking a devastating default that would hit every single part of the country as they demand extreme spending cuts that would hurt millions of Americans. Now remember, if the debt was really such a concern, there was always the option of getting rid of Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy. We could reverse those. We could even increase taxes on very wealthy corporations, and you can manage the debt that way as well. You can also cut military spending and manage the debt that way as well. But instead, they always target working people. Why? Because they need us starving so that we keep working for a pittance to keep making them profits, because they cannot make profits without us working. The powers in the people in politics we address. We're not going to default, McCarthy, Republican from California, assured. The Republican speaker said the negotiators made some progress at the White House. I want to work as hard as we can and not stop. Debt ceiling negotiations are locked on a classic problem that has divided and disrupted Washington before, particularly the last time Republicans used the borrowing limit as leverage to extract priorities a decade ago. Republicans want to roll back federal government spending, while Biden and other Democrats do not. From the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre decried what the administration called a manufactured crisis, set in motion by Republicans pushing extreme proposals that would hurt every single part of the country, whether you're in a red state or a blue state. Time is short to strike a deal. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said Wednesday that it seems almost certain that the United States would not make it past early June without defaulting. That would be catastrophic, as the government risks running out of cash to pay its bills as soon as June 1st. Mind you, the debt ceiling is just a promise to pay your bills. This is basically stuff we've already budgeted for, and they need to raise it because costs go up, and it's about paying your bills. This is money that's already spent. We are seeing some stress already in Treasury markets, Yellen said at a Wall Street Journal event. Failure to raise the nation's debt ceiling, now at $31 trillion, would risk a potentially chaotic federal default, almost certain to inflict economic turmoil at home and abroad. Anxious retirees and social service groups are among those making default contingency plans. While Biden has ruled out for now invoking the 14th Amendment, that's another thing we should note. Biden can just bypass all of this whole process and raise the debt ceiling indefinitely by invoking the 14th Amendment. And he can do this on his own without Congress. But Democrats in the House announced they have all signed on to a legislative discharge process that would force a debt ceiling vote. But they need 5 Republicans to break with their party to tip the majority to set the plan forward. You need 5 Republicans to break with the party. Good luck. Sign the bill, Democrats yelled on the House floor. Oh, stop it. All this nonsense. Sign the bill. Yeah, that's going to work. Dragging into a third week. The White House insisted early on it was unwilling to barter over the need to pay the nation's bills, demanding that Congress simply lift the ceiling, as it has done many times before with no strings attached. Again, this is what we're talking about. When Trump was president, this wasn't an issue at all. We have to spend less than we spent last year is what they want. They're saying that's the starting point. They're focused on finding an agreement on a 2024 budget. Republicans have set aside their demand to roll back spending to 2022 levels, but say that next year's government spending must be less than it is now. The White House instead offered to freeze spending at the current numbers. So they're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But again, note, they're not trying to raise taxes on the wealthy, and Biden isn't trying to avoid the drama by just doing it. It's all a show, and the powerful puts on the show to keep us all confused of what's going on. The debt ceiling will get raised. They're not going to default. The problem is we're probably going to concede ground to the powerful on this little show that they're orchestrating, and then they'll say there's nothing we can do because they were going to collapse the government if we didn't do it. But I guarantee you there's going to be some cuts, probably to public spending, Social Security, maybe SNAP benefits. Something's going to get cut on the social safety net side instead of affecting the very wealthy. Mark my words. That's coming. All right. I just want to hip you to the game, because this is all just a game. This is just to get you angry and not working together, as always. That's what it's always designed to do. But the key and the power lies in the working people. They can't make money if we're not working. That's just the facts. And they're trying to keep us starving so that we have to work every single available hour, and they can make as much profits as possible until they don't need us anymore, in which case they'll throw us out like yesterday's newspaper. All right? Don't fall for the okie doke. My name is Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Keep in mind, the fight is not left and right. It is up and down. It's going to take class solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. And there can be no union without you and I front and center. Let's get it.